Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up with my co-host, Mr. Sharad. How are you today, sir?
I am doing very well today.
Doing
Thank you.
very well today.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, that's all the singing you gonna get from me. You the singer. You the singer here, not me. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you, y'all. I was gonna just say, hey, we can do another day, but Mr. Sherrod is committed, and he was like, no, we gonna do this today. So y'all, he wants to celebrate his birthday with us. So we feel special, y'all. Well,
Oh man.
I think our topic for today is going to be a very
Oh
hot
wow.
topic. So I think
Yeah.
I think we're at the altar with this one, Mr. Sherrod. What do you think?
Yeah. This one right here is. No, I think we should be in the kitchen because it's hot. This one gonna be a hot topic.
Well, okay, well,
I think we up in the, I think we're in the hot kitchen.
okay, go to the kitchen and not to the altar.
Yeah.
You know what?
Nah. We ain't at the altar. I think this is in one of them kitchens down south.
Ooh,
Down south when it's hot.
Ooh, we're talking about loveless marriages today, y'all. Man. Your pens and your paper. Ooh. All right, so Mr. Sherrod, since you put us in the kitchen, we're gonna put the spatula and the spoon and the fork and the spoon and all that in your hands. Now, how about the apron?
All right.
Put the apron on you. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Okay. Receive this today, and the title is "Marriage Does Not Need Love." A successful marriage has little to do with love. Love is not the qualification for marriage. Love is a dangerous thing. Love can make you think you can make it. Every divorced person was first in love with the person they divorced. So don't tell me love keeps you together. Love does not guarantee success in a marriage. Love brings happiness, but doesn't bring what it takes to make marriage work. The only thing that makes marriage work is knowledge. You feel like you love someone, but you better get knowledge on how to live with them. And we are such a feeling culture that our insanity takes us to the altar, making commitments we know we can't keep. Marriage is not protected by love. Marriage is protected by knowledge. Oh my God, this is funny. This is funny. Yeah, I'm gonna let you tackle it first.
Man, I don't know how to tackle that. There's so many. I was sitting here trying to take down some bullet points as you were talking about that because wow. Wow. So okay, let's go to this point. The article or person says that the that everybody that goes to the altar is they first start out with love. Well, first that was not true. First we're gonna get rid of that one. That was not true. But when you talk about a marriage coming together based on knowledge and not love, I mean, you said it earlier though. What are we doing? It's a business transaction? It's no longer, you think about it when you pull it apart, what was marriage really intended to be? What is it really intended? Because now you're not even talking about, you're saying marriage, but you're not even really talking about marriage. You're not really talking about a coming together. You're going back to, you may as well go way back to where they had arranged marriages based on money. And everybody, and you think about those women that, there was a couple of movies. I know the one with Julia Roberts, where the lady, like, basically they were young and they put them together. And if you could read facial expressions and body language, it was like sure torture as hell when she was walking down that aisle. And before she got married, she was crying. She was like, I don't know him. I don't want to do this, but based on my family, I have to do this. So where is any type of fulfillment or satisfaction or, here, you take the spoon back because I'm all messed up right now.
Well, I want to dissect this thing, right?
Okay.
and as I'm looking at it, and the first line jumps out. It says, a successful marriage has little to do with love, right? A successful marriage has little to do with love.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes no sense in the first place.
Exactly.
Right? Because in order for us to even get to the point of love, I have to know you. I have to get to know you.
Right.
You know, that's what we say. You know, that's what the communication interrogation phase is about. Getting to know one another, getting to see those red flags, getting to see all the qualities of this individual. That's the knowledge part of it right there. So that knowledge is going to either lead you to go ahead and keep going on further, getting to know this person, or that knowledge is going to say, oh, you know what? This is not going to work for me. I'm going to bypass this.
Right.
But if we take that fork in the road, if we take the red pill and go on with the knowledge and the wisdom of, what we're gaining from this individual based on what they're telling us, showing us, and our comprehension of them. Mm-hmm. Well, if we keep going that way and we say, you know what, eventually I do want to marry him or her. Mm-hmm. That's because I fell in love with them. I'm in love. I don't want to use that word, fell in love. That's because I've come to learn to love this person. I love this person. Man, I know all these things about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if you take love and just remove it from marriage, take love and remove it from anything. Because basically what he's saying, we don't need love, period. Mm-hmm. Love is one of those things that is just not needed, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I believe love is the reason why we have the lack of love is the reason why we have the homeless. We have people starving. Love is the reason why, you can go around the world and, folks are getting killed and this and that. Lack of love, rather. The lack of love. Right. See, the reason why the world is still intact is because love it still exists. Love is the reason why you see somebody out there on, the ground, sleep, and, you feel bad for them and you try to help them because you still have love in your heart for humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Without love, you have racism, mm-hmm. sexism, genderism. You have all these things.
Right.
So for an individual to say that you and I can coexist together and not love each other, that makes no sense.
It absolutely does not make sense because you have that, the yin and the yang. So you have love and you have hate. So if you're saying that you're devoid of love, then what do you have then? I mean, yeah, because then you have no love, no compassion, no anything for that person. The second movie that I was going to talk about is one of my favorite all-time favorite movies is The Mirror Has Two Faces with Barbara Streisand. And the reason that that movie is so key to what we're talking about today is because the gentleman in the movie, and I forget his name, but he realized that he had a problem with when he loved somebody, he loved so hard that he couldn't function. So they would be able to run all over him, right? So after his last girlfriend basically rolled over him and back over him, he said, that's it. I want to be married. I want to have a companion. I want us to share all of these things. But the one thing that I'm taking out of the marriage is basically loving that person and sleeping with them. So he put an ad in the paper to do that. And on the other hand, I won't tell the whole movie, but on the other hand, Barbara Streisand played the character that had, low self-esteem and really wasn't, wasn't so beautiful, if you will. And so her sister put an ad in the paper for her. And so when they came together, basically that's what they tried to have. She agreed with it. She was like, nobody else is gonna marry me anyway, so I may as well take what I can get. So she ended up taking the marriage, and they ended up with the marriage. But the thing about it is, he fell in love with her. But he did. And the thing of it was, the funny part is that he kept trying to push away from having sex with her, but she was doing so good at being his partner. He asked her, what is it that you want? She said, I want sex. out because he had fell in love with her. So I'm not gonna tell the rest of it. No spoiler alerts for the rest of it. But it's a great movie. There's so many lessons to be learned in that movie, and it fits what we're talking about today so perfectly. Because I mean, while I just think it's kind of crazy to think that you can actually have a successful. When you say successful, I guess that we have to define what somebody means. What do they feel success is?
And here's the thing. When I read this, automatically what my mind brought me to was fear of love.
Absolutely.
You know, because what love does is allow you to look over things. You know, if you don't logically control love,
mm-hmm.
you know, you can love somebody, but you have to be. It's that's why they say, you know, that's why I use the acronym LOL. Everybody say laugh out loud, but it's really logic over love, right?
Oh, that's good.
So love is an emotion. You need to control your emotion, you know, and being able to control your emotions and knowing when, you know, somebody's getting over on you based on the love that you have for them. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, you need to be in control of love. Don't let love control you. This person sounded like they may have let love control them the first time, and then they let somebody beat them up, you know, just beat them up emotionally, right? Absolutely. Beat them up and just have them doing all types of dumb stuff, making themselves look foolish, the whole 9 yards. And now my heart was broken, and I don't want to face that no more. And I pulled up. The funny thing is I saw a scripture. And it's like, it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love, right? So you can't have fear and love in the same place. So this person chooses fear over love. And if you really know what love gives you strength to do things, right? I can still love you and still want the best for you, even if we're not together. But even if we're not together, but I have to know what's right for me, though. You still got to love you. You still got to love you first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I see people denouncing love, you know, marriage is a business. Well, then why get married? Why not just draw up a contract? You know, stay girlfriend and boyfriend. If love is not what we say it is, draw up a contract as boyfriend and girlfriend on the material things you guys accumulate together. Draw that contract up and go from there. Why have these elaborate weddings and y'all don't love each other? Yeah, it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But I like what you said there. You know, and so I have a girlfriend that actually went through the loveless marriage, you know, per se. And that's the one thing that she told me that she actually regretted, and that she apologized to her ex-husband for, was because she married him knowing that she wasn't in love with him. She loved him the kind of love that you just talked about. Less, you know, I mean, I want the best for you, but you know, basically it was just an agreement that kind of just made an agreement or what have you. And so it was just thinking about that, you know, when you say a successful marriage, you know, I don't know how now let me go back. Now, she did say that, you know, she kept praying and praying and praying because she felt bad after she did it. But she kept praying and praying and praying to, you know, that she would fall in love with him and that she would be able to, because she thought that, okay, I marry him, he's my best friend, and then I'll be able to grow in love with him later. And she said because they were so incompatible, it didn't happen. And so she did both of them in disservice by thinking that, you know, later on, she could make herself fall in love with him. And she, I mean, you know, being true to him and not cheating and not doing any of those other things, but she still, her heart wasn't there. And so it just, you know, it goes to that, you know, a live example of what you just said about, you know, that's not a successful marriage in my book. It's not.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you this way: when you're dealing with love, love is, like I said, love is an emotion. Love is something you control.
Mhm.
And for me to marry somebody based on anything other than love, to me is a waste of time.
Mhm.
You know, when we try to find out what's a successful marriage, what's the use of accumulating all these things, all these trinkets, filling up homes with furniture, paintings, all this extravagant stuff when you're still empty inside?
That's it. That's
You know, that's what I think people that try to suppress love, they try to fill up stuff. They'll fill up their place with stuff, but they're empty inside.
absolutely.
Yo, okay, you got the nice car, you got the nice house, you got all these things, but you don't have the thing that humans were meant to have.
Yeah, you just hit it. I was getting ready to say that. I was like, if
You know,
that's what we're intended to be, and I know we say half and half, and I mean that that basically how men and women are made up. We do better together than we do. And even though we're individuals and when we come into a relationship, we should be whole and happy ourselves, all of those things. But when you come together with that male and female energy, it's the perfect dance because that's just how it was created to be. And so we were created to be that way. So if you're doing anything other than that, you're deviating from the plan. So it's not gonna work. Just like the pieces of a puzzle. You can try and fit the little curvy piece with the flat piece if you want, but it's always going to be something off with that puzzle. But when you snap that puzzle piece together, all of the pieces come together. My grandson, he can put together 100-piece puzzle. It just amazes me how his mind works, and he just snaps all those pieces together. He'll put 2 pieces on the side and put them together and put the whole thing together. Now you have this big, beautiful picture. But if you were like, I'll go back to my granddaughter. When she put it together, that picture don't work because she's trying to force all those little pieces together, and it's not that beautiful portrait that it was meant to be. So I think that person that wrote that article or that piece, they have not come to grips with the brokenness that they have within themselves. And so until you come together and until you figure out your own broken pieces of your own puzzle, that puzzle piece is not going to fit perfectly with somebody else because you're trying to create something that's just it's just not going to snap together. Them Legos not going to work.
and see that, and that's, I've heard. I think it was Michael Basin says, you got to treat marriage like a business. Huh? You know, when okay, yeah, I know, your credit scores is important and all this other stuff. It's important. Okay, it is. But when you love someone, you take on their credit score, their credit debt. You're going to take that on.
Well, we are back. We had a couple of technical difficulties, so I guess that was a short intermission. So we're back on. I think I was throwing the spoon, the spatula, and the fork at you, Mr. Sherrod.
Yeah.
Take over.
Okay, dig this. Now, I want to finish breaking down this dude's statement about marriage does not need love. And he said love is a dangerous thing. Love is a dangerous thing.
Okay.
Now,
dangerous.
Any emotion can be dangerous if it's out of control.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think what people allow themselves to do is they think love is this thing that has its own personality, or this, you know what? Love is like, to me, this is what people think. Love is like this entity that possesses people, right? It make you blind, it make you dumb, it make you all these things. Mm-hmm. When it's not supposed to do anything. Love is a tool. Love is a tool. Love can be a noun or a verb. Love is something you possess, and love is something that you do. You do, right? And these people are making it seem like they personify love. They've given it a personality. Love is like, in 1 minute it's, love will make you blind to other stuff, right? Love is dangerous, like it's some villain, right? Waiting in the wings to just jab you and shit, right? But love is just what it is. Love is a tool. Love is an emotion. Love is something that you control. Love is not the virus, right? It's not something that you catch and you can't get rid of. Oh, you need to. No, it's not that. We keep making love more complicated than what it should be, I believe.
You said something too about falling. You said it's not about falling in love. And I agree with you, because I don't like that term either, because anything you can fall into, you can fall out of.
You fall out of.
So I think it's something that you grow into. I think that is something that as you start to get to know one another and you start to ebb and flow. And I think that's the point, or the part that people continuously get wrong, if you will. I think that process, because people don't want, they want the instant, they don't want the process. But with the instant, you get those crazy instant results. But when you just like, some people say, well, they were friends first, so they got to know one another, they got to support one another, they got to really get to know the person, the good, the bad, the whole thing. So it wasn't just them falling in love or falling in lust with the representative. They were able to actually see the person in how do they react when they stump their toe or hit their funny bone? How do they react when they're caught in traffic, or just all of these things? How do they are they considerate of other people? Are they considerate of you? How do they take care of your heart? These are all the things that I believe that we get wrong when we we fell in love with somebody. Because I think, like you said before, I agree. I think it's the initial lust, the initial tingle, the initial interest, the initial chemistry. It's all of those things. And then, like we had read before, we talked about the biochemical reaction of being attracted to somebody. When we talked about
neurotransmitters and things of that nature,
right? I think
neuroscience.
And I think if anything, I agree with about the knowledge or the education point of knowledge and education. You get that knowledge and education as you move along, but I wouldn't say that you get that knowledge and education and say, okay, this is a good transaction I'm going to make. I'm not going to allow myself to fall in love with this person or care about this person. It's like, that part to me is ridiculous.
Because that's like, when they say it's about knowledge, right? And then you get married based on knowledge. But that's like putting the cart before the horse, isn't it? Because you're supposed to gain that knowledge in the beginning in order to want to even move to that next step.
Absolutely.
The knowledge of that person that you gain will lead to you falling in love with that person. Like you said about the movie. Dude, he didn't want no love. He didn't want none of that. But guess what? He started getting to know her, being around her, and this and that and the other. And just like normal human beings, we catch feelings. We do. We catch feelings. We are here for each other. We're here companionship. That's why even in prison, you're not supposed to put somebody in isolation for so many days at a time, because that isolation will drive you crazy. Exactly. And I believe that's what a lot happens to people out here. They put themselves in these, not total isolation, but they isolate their feelings, and then it brings up that inner turmoil. It brings up that hatred of love. And every time somebody mentions a good relationship, they're the ones that ain't gonna last. All good things come to an end.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, and let me see. There was another point I don't even like calling them points that he made. They're not points. It's just stuff he's saying.
We have to understand too, that this is to write a letter, a piece, or whatever like this. It's just really showing all of the brokenness and the turmoil that person is going through themselves. And that's the point of podcasts like ours, is to open the eyes and take those blinders off. My dad used to say, take those rose-colored glasses off, because I used to be the person on the opposite side of that article, if you will, where I thought, it's the picket fence, and it's the Prince Charming gonna come and ride you off on horse. So I was the total opposite of that, where I just was, totally this romantic, not utilizing what you said about controlling emotion and all of that. So I think it's a process to get to where you are emotionally mature. And I think that's what you're touching on when you say control, controlling your emotions and everything. It's all about emotional control. I mean, emotional maturity.
And see, I'm trying to pull something up, you know, and okay, because there's obviously more people out there that think this way, you know. But I'm gonna read his, and then I'm gonna read a little excerpt from this. It says, "Love can make you think you can make it." Isn't that love can make you think you can make it? Listen to this. This is his reasoning behind this statement, I guess. Every divorced person was first in love with the person they divorced. So don't tell me love keeps you together. No, love doesn't keep you together.
No.
It doesn't keep you together. Love is not the glue. There's things that goes into this. Love is just the tool. Y'all have to be compatible in some ways. Y'all have to have the understanding. Remember the 5 C's: consistency, compatibility, communication. All these things are all thrown in the pot together.
Trust. Big dose of trust. Yeah.
You know, and trust and all these other good things. It's just like he's trying to make it seem like love is supposed to just be that thing that carries us through. Like we said earlier, love, when you love somebody, even when you're not together anymore, right? Love will say, I still want him or her to succeed in life. I still want the best for him or her. It just won't be with me.
And see, that's the part of, like, I keep harping on the interrogation part of it. And I don't just mean you sit down and you put, you're in a police room and you have an interrogation. I'm not talking about, right?
Now, I love you, right? I want to love you, but I need to ask you some things first. Now, on the night of January 1st, 2021, when you said you had COVID, and no, you didn't have COVID. You just didn't want me to come over. But that's what we're trying to get past this point so I can love you. You know.
We're not talking about that kind of interrogation. We're talking about taking your time to really get to know, and you just made me forget my point when you went through the Columbo and all of them. You just went through that interrogation stage. But when he said that about read his little statement, that part again, because there was something in it that I really wanted to expand upon. The statement that you just made, the point that he was making about the last point.
About love is dangerous, or love can make you think you can make it.
That's it right there. Okay. It is supposed to, not the love, just the love, but the relationship or the person is supposed to help you to know that you can. Because I don't know the study that I heard about, but the study was talking about how when a person is in love, even their heart is like bigger or something. I got to look that up and find out. But I know
hold on. We can look that up. You know me. Yeah, I'll pull some stuff up.
I know that's right. But it's supposed to make you feel like it's supposed to give you that feeling or that notion to be able to do things. Go ahead, you must have found it.
Yeah, because we got the 15 effects that love has, right?
Okay.
Your brain on love, and the brain changes triggered by love certainly affect your mood and behavior when these feelings are new, but some effects linger long past the first blush of love, continuing to strengthen your commitment every time. You experience euphoria. Your brain's reward system relies on this important chemical to reinforce pleasurable behaviors, including eating, listening to music, having sex, seeing people you love. Euphoria. Attachment and security. Willingness to sacrifice. That part where he says love makes you think you can make it. Yeah, you do, because everybody has to realize we got to compromise. Everything is not going to go my way. So there's some things I'm going to have to compromise on. She may not like this, but guess what? Okay, case in point. single man living in a house by myself. Just say I hoop 5 out of the 7 nights every week as a single person. Hey, that's me. I can do what I want. Now she moves in. It can't be 5 nights. It's not going to drop down to 0, but it's not going to be 5 out of 7 nights.
Right.
You know?
Right. I love that point, because this is another thing I think when he's talking about basically the loveless part of the marriage, I think this is the other part. People, when they get into a relationship, they don't like allow for that. Allow for the person to actually continue to be who they are and continue to do the things that they like to do individually. It's like, okay, this all-encompassing thing that suffocates you as an individual. And then sometimes, this person that's writing this, has an ought against being in a loving relationship, or I can hear that he has an ought against a loving relationship. But a loving relationship says, I want you to go out there and be able to hoop. I want to go out and I want to be able to shop, or I want to be able to, like I said once before, my daughters have it so right. They go and they travel. They travel together with their spouses, but they also travel together as a family. But they also have their time that, babe, I'm going to do whatever. But they make each other in the partner relationship feel so comfortable and know that, they can trust them that, hey, babe, go ahead. Let me support you. Let me help you. Let me get you ready, what you need or whatever. And then that's also giving the partner time for them to be by themselves too. And then when you come back together, you have that new feeling of, oh man, I missed you and I can't wait to see you again. And I think that's where people miss that point, that it's okay.
And you know what? When you're doing your thing and you're going out, you're playing ball and you're doing that, she does her thing. And guess what? Sometimes, inviting that person to come along to see what it is you do.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, you want to come watch me hoop? And they may not come every time, right. But hey, at least she can get a good understanding of, okay, that's just the fellas. They out here doing whatever, and most women don't want to be around a bunch of dudes if she's the only woman.
Exactly.
Exactly. So she'll let you know, yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Hooray for you. But I don't want to be around a bunch of guys like that. Right. And that's fine. But just knowing that you're welcome to come.
That's the point too. I like that point, that there are no secret compartments or no secret areas of your life that your person is not, a privilege to, but not, like you said, a lot of times men don't like to shop. A lot of times men don't want to hang around you and your girlfriends. But just to know that you're not closing the door on any parts of your life to there's no secret compartments or no secret whatever. This is an all-inclusive thing. We're together. But so no, I think those are the healthy components or the healthy points that people miss out. But it goes back to that person's insecurities, that person's brokenness, and then also it depends on the level of maturity and how healthy the person that you're coming together with. And that's what that interrogation is all about. Figuring out, and sometimes in the interrogation, you'll figure out you have some areas that you need to work on in order for you to be that healthy companion or the healthy partner in a partnership. But it's about taking that time to figure it out. And like you said, I think it was so important. You said that it's not that, and this is something I hope everybody really hear, it's not that it's anything wrong with the other person. It's just that you may figure out or find out that that's just not the right person for you. And it's okay. It's not rejection. I think people take it as rejection. It's not rejection. It's just figuring out what's healthy and what's best for you. And then in turn, you're giving that person the opportunity to find what's healthy for them because you still wish them well. And I think if everybody could get that.
And see, and what you just said, just because we're good people, that don't mean we're the right people for each other.
Absolutely. No.
And we talked about energy. Sometimes we confuse energy. We got good chemistry together. Sometimes we confuse that to say, oh man, we need to be intimate with one another and we need to be in a relationship, when all we need to really is just have a business partnership.
Absolutely.
And make it professional instead of personal.
Absolutely. And then it's okay. I just think that it's just the rejection part that people get all discombobulated. Why people say, once they've, been in a maybe intimate or not sexually intimate, or maybe sexually intimate or what have you, once they've been in that space, they don't feel like they could go back to a friendship. When in essence, if it's emotional
Yeah.
on both sides, they should be able to do that without, people we go back to the neuroscience where people start slashing tires and busting out windows and all that crazy crap. It's like, no, it's just a real mature, healthy place to be able to be in. And, it's like it's okay, because I do believe that, because this is something my cousin said, and I think about her often. She's no longer with us, but she said, even though she's been through multiple, failed relationships, she said the one thing that keeps her not giving up is to know that because she exists, he exists, or because she exists, because he exists, she exists. So therefore, like we talked about the yin and yang, we try to force a square hole in a round peg in a square hole, and it doesn't fit. But when you get that actual square peg or that round peg to go into that round hole, then once you're there, you'll understand how important it is and how much better it flows than you trying to force something that's really not supposed to be.
Okay. And that I agree with you 1000% wholeheartedly, because why can't we be friends afterward? I mean, if there was no violence or anything like that, anything just extreme, how come we can't be at least cordial? Hey, how you doing? Boop, boop, and keep it moving. Because when you say you're over something, you're over it. You're literally over it. And you can be in the same room with that person and their new mate. It's nothing like, I'm not envious, I'm not mad. It's just something that as grown-ups, you do. You have to do it, especially if you have children. Right. Sometimes you are going to be in the same space with that individual and you don't want to be there. Grow up.
Right, exactly. But that's why it's important to link yourself with other healthy people, because then you can make those decisions and determinations, and then on the other side of it, you have a better outcome, because now you're not trying to look over your shoulder because some crazy stalker's after you. You make better decisions when you make better decisions right up front. So, go ahead to this loveless marriage stuff.
Okay. Love does not guarantee success in marriage. Love brings happiness, but doesn't bring what it takes to make marriage work. The only thing that makes marriage work, the only thing that makes marriage work, in this person's mind, in this person's mind.
Okay.
This dude's mind.
Okay.
The only thing is knowledge.
That just kicked out all the 5 C's. It just kicked out the trust. It just kicked out, yeah. You gonna send a therapist over to his house?
Hell, I need a therapist for even reading this thing and making it and turn it into a podcast. I need to be sitting on somebody's couch and be like, look, dog, man, I pulled this cognac today, man, because, man, I read this thing today. Oh, man, hold on, let me take a sip, doc.
This was your idea, so, but I some nuggets, though. It's some nuggets in it. I mean, this was his idea.
It is.
He had his way on his birthday.
Okay, all right. He says, love does not guarantee success in marriage. It doesn't. That part is correct, because there's other aspects of a marriage. There's other aspects of a relationship, right? Like you said, just because you love somebody, that don't mean we're going to be hunky-dory together forever. There's things. There's an effort. There's effort you have to put into this thing. There's changes that will be made. There's growth. There's all these things. Like you said, we got to communicate. We got to compromise. We got to be consistent. We got to cooperate with one another. Okay. I mean, all right, genius boy. I mean, yeah. Okay. So love does not guarantee success.
Right.
It doesn't. Okay. Then he says, love brings happiness, but does not bring what it takes to make a marriage work. Happiness is one of the main damn things you need in a
You can't get it out?
Y'all,
Breathe,
y'all,
breathe.
y'all happy in your marriage? No, man, we sad as hell, and it worked, man. You know, no, man, we always mad at each other, man, and I'm married. Work, man. I hate her, she hate me, but we know each other though.
Knowledge, right?
That's miserable. That's miserable.
Absolutely, it is.
That is misery. That's misery one-on-one right there. Being with somebody just because maybe you can't pay your own bills, or maybe because, hey, Bumpy, we got kids. Whatever. I'm ugly, she ugly. So hey, you know, don't nobody want neither one of us. I ain't worried about her cheating because who want her and who want me? So we're equally yoked. You know.
What's the next point? Because he got you frowned up. You can't be frowned up on your day now.
It's like, and then it's like, here's the last, this is the last paragraph of this thing, right?
Okay.
You feel like you love someone. You feel like you love someone, but you better get knowledge of how to live with them. And we are such a feeling culture that our insanity. Now we crazy because we crazy in love. We crazy.
That was a good
crazy
movie.
In love.
But go ahead.
Crazy in love. All right. And we are such a feeling culture that our insanity takes us to the altar. We just cuckoo as hell going to get married. We just nuts going to get married. Making commitments we know we can't keep. Marriage is not protected by love. Marriage is protected by knowledge. So if I know you cheating on me, then we can stay together because I know it. You know, because he said, we go to the altar, you know, we're such a feeling culture that our insanity takes us to the altar, making commitments we know we can't keep. Well, that's why love is there. That's why all these other emotions are there. That's why effort, that, you know, the effort, you got to put in effort. It's just not, you just can't have feelings. You just can't have knowledge and think that this thing is just going to work on its own. Okay, I know a thing, right? Case in point, you read a book.
Yeah.
If you read the book, but you do not apply what you've just read, you don't know how to do a thing. You don't have wisdom. You just know how to, you know it, you know what it is, but do you know how to do it?
Right.
Love is one of them things you got to keep practicing. It's got to keep going and going and going and going. Got to keep going over and over and over and over again.
It's true. That's true. I was just looking up the movie Crazy Love. It just one of the ones that popped in my head, but it's a whole bunch of them. Now that I see, you got me looking up. See, you have to apply knowledge, right? You have to apply the knowledge. So I'm applying the knowledge, but I couldn't find the movie. But the movie about Crazy Love, in his last little point, you know, I think one of the things that people do is go to the altar and they don't understand the marriage vows. They don't it's like you just do it. This is what you do. This is what you say. But I think that it's important. A friend of mine, she said that they dissected the marriage vows before they got married. And they've been married for 50 years. And I'm like, I look at their marriage and I think I know, you know, nothing is perfect. I get it. I'll say that right up front. But I think they really get it. Like, you know, they support each other. You know, I actually, you know, I met him before I met her, but I knew about her. You know, I met him through business and working relationship, but I just loved and I admired the fact that he made it crystal clear, you know, about his wife. And, you know, he talked about her. He lifted her up. And so there was nothing, you know, nothing out of pocket. Everything was, you know, he really elevated her. And then when I met her, I could see how they meshed so well together because they supported each other. Therefore, he go off and he travel and do things or whatever. But if you hear that kind of feedback back, that also helps to reinforce your trust, because we teach each other how we are. We teach each other, you know, if we're consistent, if we're considerate. We teach each other that. We teach each other that we can be trusted, because there's also on the other side, we teach each other when we can't be trusted, when our word is not trusted. We teach each other all that. So I think people go to the altar and they haven't dissected the marriage vows, so they're just saying, I do, you know, but it's like, what does it really mean? she said one of the things, and it was funny, she said one of the things that they rearranged in their marriage vows was if for richer or for poorer. She was like, because I wasn't even putting that over us because we weren't going to be poorer together. We were going to be richer together. So they revised those words. Because another thing too, people don't understand that words have power. And you're standing and you're making a vow to one another. So those should be vows to one another, not just words that are spoken. So when you talk about, okay, we're going to get married. I'm just wondering what those freaking marriage vows look like, because you surely couldn't be, you couldn't have read the standard marriage vows, the love, honor, and wait a minute, we gotta take that love word out. Hold on, we gotta take honor out. Hold on, we gotta take obey out. We gotta take obey out. Hold on, we gotta take. If you got a loveless marriage, what vow did you really make? I would love to throw that in front of him. He said he got, marriage can be loveless. What was the word? I shake your hand, business partner. What's up? Click, click. I mean,
you come in and be like, we walk down the aisle like, what up, though?
I know. We didn't even kiss. It wasn't even no kiss or no.
No, it's a handshake. Y'all be like,
I know.
And then hug each other, smack each other on the back, like, yeah, bro, that's it. How the dudes call the girls, the women nowadays, bro. Yeah, bro. We married, bro.
What's the honeymoon like? What?
Oh, man, shit, what's the honeymoon? The honeymoon, man, we about to go to the gym. We about to start hooping. Get your basketball shorts. I bought you some brand new gym shoes. You can come to, man, come on, baby, let's go. We about to hoop. I mean,
that's terrible.
Everybody think this loveless thing works. It doesn't work. I mean, that's why you have so many miserable people around, because loveless, they run people away from them. Right. Misery likes company, but misery wants other misery to feed off of. That's what misery needs. Misery cannot exist with somebody loving around, with somebody understanding around. Misery can't exist around people that's positive. They get that good energy. Because you're going to do one of the two things to misery. You're either going to drive it out, and that person is going to take your energy and move the way you move, or you're going to drive them back. It's going to repel them. And then they're not going to want to be around you no more because you're too happy.
Absolutely. That's that light and dark can't share the same space. One of them is going to dominate the other.
But you need both in order to know that the other exists.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So how would you put I was going to say bow, but no. How would you conclude this episode?
Man, you know what? Well, I'm gonna keep it positive. I'm gonna keep it a buck, and then I'm gonna keep it positive at the same time.
Okay.
Love is a tool. Love. We grow to love one another based on the knowledge that we gain by spending the time necessary to get to know and understand that person. Through that time that we spend, we actually see if we're compatible with this person or not. We have to start gauging what the possibilities of a relationship that's progressing is. What are the possibilities? What are we going to get out of being together? Is this going to be a romantic relationship, or man, is this just a relationship like, hey, we're friends? Right. You have to understand what that relationship is. And if it's not a romantic relationship, don't force it.
Absolutely. Right.
Sometimes you want to be friends, and yeah, somebody may get hurt.
Right.
But it's better to do that now than to wait down the line, years down the line, and say, you know what, I never loved you anyway. So now not only was you stringing them along, you lied.
Right. And I want to piggyback on that. I think that emotional maturity is something that, that is so key and so important in relationships, because I think you can, I go back to, past relationships for, just personally that, that turned romantic, they should have stayed friendships. Because think about the friendships that you could call upon if you don't take it to that next level, and then it doesn't work and somebody's emotionally immature. And I think the other thing is being able to articulate that to the other person, making sure that person understands, because I think leaving things kind of in a balance, people start guessing. And I think that's where, when you have to start guessing, and I learned this some years ago, when you have to guess at something, there's something not right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It should be able to be articulated clearly, because you should always know where you stand. So, I mean,
Yep.
again, going back to emotional maturity, it is, it's just a good tool. Like you said, love is a tool, you know, communication, all of the 5 C's, trust, all of those things are very important. And those things actually are important in relationships, period, not just a marriage, but in how you treat and how you communicate with people. This is something that I learned recently. It's called relationship capital, and how you take care of your relationships. It makes a huge difference, you know. But then it's a two-way street, so it takes that give and take. It takes that energy flow from both parties. So, with that being said, again, happy birthday, Mr. Sherrod. Thank you for spending your valuable birthday and time with us today. We appreciate it. And for you
Yes,
all,
ma'am.
yes. I hope we do some kind of, you know, we helped you to not, you know, be mad at Mr. Man for that crazy article.
No, he good, man. He's
All is
good.
good. All is well. Don't forget, everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. And until next time, stay fearless. Bye for now.